Hey everyone, welcome to my 100% Yakuza 2 playthrough, the original Yakuza 2 on PlayStation 2. I am playing this with a restored patch via emulator, although this will work also on the native PlayStation 2 disc. I attempted to do this before, but I found Yakuza 2 was actually kind of tricky. There's a lot of missable stuff. It could be a real pain in the butt. You miss one heat attack and then you're screwed and you have to start all the way back over. And as you can see through the screen here, you do have a lot more options. And the first thing I'm going to do also is show you this. Make sure this is on if you want to skip cutscenes. This will not be a story playthrough. This will be a guide to show you how to get 100%. And so I will be skipping cutscenes and dialogue. And I do have a non-commentary playthrough up with cutscenes, but I'm probably gonna do a no commentary extreme playthrough with New Game Plus after this. Do that as a long play, perhaps. Yeah, so you have different difficulties here. These are available post game, as I've already beaten this before. I'm gonna be starting fresh, new save on normal difficulty, make things a little bit easier, and yeah, especially with the Amon. So let's just jump right into it. And again, no cutscenes, and there's bonus stuff there if you have a save data from the first game. No cutscenes. We're going straight into the gameplay. First thing first, gonna go to the tombstone at the very end here, the grave site, and it's gonna ask if we want a flashback of the first game. Not this time, no. All right, tutorial fights pretty straightforward. Just follow the commands that it tells you on screen. But I am going to show you 2 heat attacks you can get from here. That's a big thing. You do have to get every heat attack in this game. Really annoying. So I'm trying to get behind this guy. He's not letting me. Usually you gotta let them throw a punch and then you spin behind them like that. But instead I'm going to opt and get this. Those are the 2 heat attacks you can get from the tutorial, and they will be in your completion list. So now, after all the introductory stuff, we are in Kamurocho, the start of the game. Chapter 1's pretty straightforward. It's a lot of the city's cut off because you're not supposed to really do much except for just get to Daigo pretty fast. But there's actually quite a bit you can actually get done. I mean, if you really want to, you could grind street fights and like get completion on all of these restaurants that are already open. We're gonna get completion on 2 of them here in a second. But for now, we're just gonna go where the story wants us to. We're gonna go here to this corner. And if you want to skip dialogue, you can hold the R1 button, the R1 bumper, and X. If you hold those together, it'll skip the dialogue. Or circle if you're playing the Japanese version. As X is the action for the US version, and circle is the action for the Japanese version. If you're curious about the restoration patch, it's not nearly as drastic as the first game, which actually restores the Japanese audio. This one just cleans up some things, a little bit better subtitles, cleans up the font a little bit, and tries to make the game look a little bit better for widescreen. But it's not really that drastic. It's a nice patch, though. I keep it on. So, going to get a heat attack here. Grab this guy from the front, hit him on the wall. And then we are going to build up our heat. And I'm taunting here. We're going to get an upgrade that lets taunts increase your heat attack, or your heat. But for now, I'm trying to get this guy to throw a punch so I can grab him from behind like that. And that's another heat attack down. Now we're actually going to look at the completion list here. Yeah, as you can see, quite a lot. This is the first Yakuza game to have a completion list. In the second game, there's food. We're going to be going to the restaurants, eating there. Drinks, same thing. Going to bars. Heat actions is the big one. Lots of different heat actions, different categories for them. And there are missable heat actions. I'm going to show you where those are. I'm going to try and show you as many as I can, but I am going to show you where all the missable ones are because those will really mess up your run. And it was also here where I realized what this music is sampled from. A kind of crazy discovery, both from Wu-Tang Clan and Orange Days, the J-drama. But if you look here, you can see that there are highlighted heat actions on the list. That means you can do those at present. Those are available in this action sequence. These darker ones, the gray ones, no, you can't do those yet. And some of them are exclusive to certain locations, which is why it'll highlight when those are available to kind of help you out to know, oh wait, I can do something here. But we'll talk about those, when we get to them. For now, just gonna finish these guys off. Yakuza 2 is pretty intensive, but there are ways you can make life easier for yourself. And if you're playing through emulation, you do have save states available to you if you mess up somewhere or need help with the mini games. So, cafe here is going to be our first restaurant. Just going through the list. Now, I do find it kind of inconvenient. The first game actually shows you when you've eaten an item so that you know that you've done that, and you don't have to get it again, even though there's no completion for it in the first game. But this one doesn't do that. It doesn't give you a little check mark like, oh, hey, you've already eaten this. Why don't you eat something else? You have to actually go back into the menu and look at your list to keep up with what you've had. So, as you can see there, I was full, so I couldn't eat anymore. So I'm actually going to intentionally let some punks beat me up so that my health goes down and I can eat more food. That is the trick to getting completion fast with restaurants, because there are no items that reduce your health or your hunger like the other games, the later games. Also get this heat attack here on this pole. Some of them have extra button commands, QTEs. Just keep an eye out for those. And I don't think I actually get anything with this guy. I do. I get the giant traffic cone. Yeah, make sure you pick up your weapons in the environment and as many different heat actions as you can. And now we can level up for the first time. So you've got the top ones are like heat actions. These are, the middle are technique, and the last are body, which are like your health increases. Technique are like different combos and such, and the top are learning more heat actions, which I do recommend getting those pretty early on for your completion list. But I'm actually going to upgrade my health here so that I can lower it more and eat more food at once. And you can just run into these delinquents on the streets to get into street fights. And I'm not going to show every fight. I'm not going to show all the grinding. I'm only going to be showcasing when I do something important. Which here, we've already gotten the seed attack, so nothing there. But you're going to constantly see me checking my list. I recommend you do the same. And I'm going to also include a guide that I use from GameFAQs that has a list of all the heat attacks amongst everything that you need for 100%. I skipped ahead here to another street fight that I let whittle my health down so that I could go and finish the cafe. So again, if you need to, check your completion list to know what you have and haven't already eaten so that you aren't, repeating yourself. Because some of these, as you can see, don't heal you as much. Like the smaller items, no big deal. But if you eat a big meal, you're gonna get pretty much most your health back, and then you gotta go back out in the street and let Kiryu get his ass kicked again. I believe here I tried to pick up this guy's stick because I wanted to do heat action with it, and I messed up because I didn't realize my own strength. I was a little too strong here. No, okay, I see. I get the heat action here on the car, grabbing the guy from the back, and that is a new heat action we did not have yet. So again, constantly checking your list is crucial. We're here now. We're going to get the last item, and I finished off Cafe Alps, and I'm going to look here, See, 133 food items. That's quite a bit. Quite a bit, but we've got 100% there already. In the first chapter, we've already got 100% on the restaurant, so that's pretty cool. Now we're going to go to the next restaurant, which is right around here. And this one's pretty unique, as you'll see in a second. There are some restaurants like this, which ultimately will make your life easier. Not your wallet, not your wallet, but it will make everything else easier. So I'm going to go to Sushi Jin here. Or Sushi Gin. And we're going to be seated. And they're actually going to give us the option. So I will realize in a second here. There we go. You can actually pick the whole menu. There you go. You can order the whole menu at once and get your 100% right there. Now, isn't that convenient? We love when restaurants do that. But not so much your wallet. But if you've been doing quite a bit of street fights, you should actually be racking up a decent amount of money as well. And I didn't experiment too much with this chapter in terms of how many street fights you could do, because in the first game, in the second chapter, you can actually just keep doing street fights for a while and level up way higher than you really need to be. But here I just finished these two restaurants. I finished Sushi Gin and Cafe Alps, and I ate a little bit at Smile Burger, but after that I decided to press on with the story. Here's another heat attack I got on a street fight on the way there. I love the dynamic slow-mo on Mr. Fart Hoodie. I think I need that hoodie, to be honest with you. I think I need the fart hoodie. Gave us some cologne. Might want to hang on to that for later. No keys to grab yet either, in case you're wondering about the coin locker keys. You don't worry about that for Kamurocho till chapter 5. In fact, we won't be picking up keys at all until chapter 3. So this story fight is another tutorial. Again, it's pretty straightforward. Just follow the commands that it tells you to. This one's teaching you how to fight enemies behind you, which is great. I do think the combat in this game is so much better than the first one. Talk about that in a little bit. Get into the next story fight. Another upgrade here. I choose to get all three up to level 2 in chapter 1, it seems. You could save up for your heat actions if you want. That is up to you. Now we're going to go find Daigo, who is Miss Llama's favorite character. The poor guy who does nothing in these games but get his ass kicked, really. But he's got he's cool. He's cool. He's cool for a guy that just gets his ass beat. But you know, he's got that aura, I guess. So yeah, I really do like the combat more. Truthfully, I've played the first game way more times, also because I didn't have the second one for a while. But when I did play the second one, I was like, wow, this is just better than the first on every technical level. The gameplay is better, the free roam is better. The completion list, which can be tedious, it still adds so much more to do to your game, and it's already so much more expansive with its 2 maps. Yeah, Yakuza 2 is a great sequel. It really is. Story is debatable. Story is a bit debatable, but I don't know. I like the characters in this one a lot. I used to be very adamant about the first game being still one of the best stories in the series, but 2 it just grows on me more every time I revisit it. So here's our boss fight against Daigo. He doesn't actually go down that often, which is pretty good. It makes it easy for stringing combos and building up your heat, which you want to do because we're going to get our first kind of missable heat action here in this boss fight. You will get another opportunity to get this, but I recommend grabbing it here just while you can. So during boss fights, you'll have this. Super finishes. which are unique for boss fights. You can do this again on Majima, I believe it was, during the Coliseum. But we grabbed that, so that's done. Don't have to worry about that anymore. And the next one will be in Chapter 3 when we do our boss fight against Ryuji. And there's actually 3 missable heat actions in Chapter 3, so make sure you pay attention when we get there. Because there are 3 missable heat actions. Yeah, we already did the special one, so now you can just finish Daigo off however you choose fit. I think I'm not going to be able to build up... yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to get enough heat here. Oh, I do. Ah, nope. There we go. We did get a heat action. You want to use as many heat actions on a boss as you can to get more XP. I don't think it works the same as the first game because it gave you so much. You want to work on that. So that's Chapter 1. Pretty straightforward. I do recommend making multiple saves, as many saves as you can. If you're playing the HD version on PS3, you'll get a lot more. But here we have limited save slots. Going to go ahead and make my first save here. Get ready to jump into Chapter 2. So after we separate from Daigo here, we're going to go all the way to the end of the map. Chapter 2 is not too long. There's a few things we need to take care of, starting with talking to the takoyaki stand here. And the first order of business is we need to keep buying from him. Just keep ordering the cheapest option here until finally he becomes our buddy. This is required for a couple steps in completion. Before moving on, I'm going to upgrade my soul, which will give us the ability to increase our heat by taunting. Very, very handy to have. Alright, so we're going to talk to this guy at the end here. He's going to try and sell us, I think it was a bad watch or something like that. We'll humor him and take a look. I don't even have that money. So obviously we're not going to buy it, and he's going to lie that we broke it and try to skim more money out of us. So we're going to do what Kiryu usually does to people like this. And in the start of this fight, we are going to get a unique heat attack. So press circle. You get a pretty good time window for that. This is the new feature in Yakuza 2. You can go around making friends throughout the city by doing sub-stories or just buying stuff like we did from the takoyaki stand. And we get unique heat actions linked to them. And that is for completion. So now we're going to go through the story and of course pick the famous "I peacocked your mom" line. I always gotta pick that one. And there are a couple... Literally 2, yeah. A couple unique heat actions we can get in this area. Not exclusive to this fight, but... you know, better to get them as soon as you can. So I'm trying to build my heat up here, and I'm not doing a good job at it here. This guy actually has more health than you might expect. I definitely underestimated how much health he had in terms of beating him up to get heat faster. I was just trying to get my taunts in because I needed to do at least 2 heat attacks here. Both of them are related to those benches that we are making our way to. There are 2 different heat actions you can do with the benches. One here, you go to the very end of them and you hit them with the ass cracker. So I like to call it, I don't know, it's like called like the ash crusher or something. Well, struggling here a little bit. This guy, there seems to be like an invincibility frame when they go for a swing that doesn't let you grab them. And just trying to keep my heat up here. Now you want to do the heat action there, and then you'll get both of the unique bench heat actions, which I believe only happen in this area. And I finish him off with this heat action. So, continuing with the story just a little bit here, we're going to go talk to, what's old boy's name? Kurakawa? Yeah. Talk to Kurakawa for a little bit. I'm not entirely sure why I'm not completely skipping the dialogue here. Sometimes I'm checking my notes or looking at my previous runs or whatever to make sure I know what I need to do next. But, I mean, the story for this chapter is very short. We're already towards the end of it. But there's some free roam stuff we can take care of, like this side mission here outside of White Snake Ramen. We've got a Dine and Dasher, and we get the description that he was a fat ass. Very helpful. So we're gonna just go around the corner here, down to this bridge, and you notice that the southern half of the map is cut off. We can't actually go there yet. We can only explore the northern side. So it's this guy here in the... Is that a plaid shirt? Looks plaid. That's the Dine and Dasher. And there is a unique heat action here, so I'm skipping ahead just to show that. No real point in showing the whole fight. But, yeah. This stand over here, this stand in the corner, you want to do a heat action on. So make sure you grab that when you do this side mission. It's not entirely missable, but you know, sometimes it's hard to force spawn enemies in certain locations later down the line, so it's good to grab them when you can, just like with the benches earlier. Though you'll be doing quite a bit of fights there, especially if you're going to be grinding for food, like I will be in a little bit. Well, we finished that mission. I think I'm actually going to... Yeah, I'm going to grab a bite, get my health up. There aren't too many restaurants in Sotenbori, but they are a bit tedious to complete because they have pretty full menus. And they can heal a lot, so you need to take a lot of damage. Next, we're going to go into the Sega arcade. A couple of things we're going to finish off here. In this side mission here, this guy wants us to get some plushies for him. And it's pretty easy because it's just going to be a full cart of them. So you just got to pick and choose. And I can't really give much instruction to the UFO catcher. It's just practice and you'll get the hang of it. I think this is one of the easier ones. I definitely find them much more tedious in the later games, to be entirely honest with you. They are usually a nightmare for me, and you have to get 100 plushies in this game. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But yes, we got the plushie for that guy. Now we're going to go down here to this lower bridge area. And yeah, go down the stairs. There you go. Oh, nope. Some visible wallage there. Go down here, and we're going to find that exact plushie we just won for the guy. Now, even though the whole machine was full of them, Kiryu deduces that, that must be the same exact one we gave to that guy. So, we're going to go back to the arcade and talk to him again. Turns out we got the wrong robot. He wanted, or his girlfriend wanted the chief, so grab that one. Yeah, this is going to give us our first instance of a full inventory. Do not discard something important, okay? Discard the takoyaki if you need to, because we don't get the save box for a little bit. I believe chapter 3 is when we get our first save box, so... Or item box, I should say. So when it tells you... usually if your inventory is full, you can choose an item to put into the item box, but since we haven't accessed it yet, it's actually just going to throw your stuff away. So don't do that with something valuable. You're just going to end up losing it. Now we're going to go back to where we found the plushie earlier. And this is a pretty funny side mission. This girl runs up to us and is pretending like we're her baby daddy. Obviously a scam. 200,000 in. No way. We ain't have that much money yet. And of course, it's a scam, so someone's going to try and beat us up. And we are going to get a unique heat action here as well. It's actually a couple heat actions of throwing somebody off of something here, but this is the first one. There's another one on the higher bridge. And one we're going to get at the end of this chapter, actually, which I can't recall if it's exclusive or not, but it does not pop up very often if it isn't. Anyway, she wasn't even really pregnant. She just had a little ball, or a big ball, under her shirt. So once that's done, we go back to this guy yet again. He gave us a watch. I hope you didn't throw it away. I don't know why you would have. There's no reason to have. Give it back to him. And he's going to give you a ring. And we should be able to sell that ring later, but the pawn shop is not open yet, so don't worry about it. There's another arcade game in here, the YF6. It's not very difficult, but I do recommend... first, I'm going to upgrade my soul here. I do recommend doing it pretty early because it gives you an extra heat bar. You see how we have that one little extra notch at the end of our heat bar there? The blue bar that fills up. We're going to get another one of those just by completing this mini game. And to do that, let's just scrolling through all the different mini games here. This is going to be the longest grind, of course, of this game, or the mini games. But UFO catcher, you've got to get 100 plushies. I like to do 25 per chapter. I get it 25 now, 50, and then, you know, go up to 100. You can get it done in 4 chapters. You can spread it out however you want. UFO catchers are pretty much in every chapter. That's up to you. First, I am going to play YF6, and I recommend at least doing the tournament mode now because it gives you that extra heat bar, and it's really handy. So tournament mode is winning 5 fights in a row, basically. And, I mean, the game's pretty straightforward, but I'll go ahead and show you the final fight, which would be the most difficult, show you kind of how to go about it. So it's kind of like, we got like Tron with lightsabers going on here. So this whole game is about looking for windows. Your opponent starts attacking, and that's when you go in. You have a strong attack with triangle, which is like a little dash, and a swing, which does the most damage. So basically, when the enemy tries to attack you, they miss. That's when you go in for the hit. You also have guns. I don't really use them too much. They're very tricky, and they leave you open to get hit, like I just did to the opponent there. You also have base attacks, too, with square, but they're not very good. It's kind of interesting. This is our first like real arcade game in Yakuza, besides for just the UFO catcher. And boy, is it gonna get a lot more intensive when we get to the modern era. So yeah, just look for openings, smack the enemy. You can win by whittling their health down to 0, or as I'm going to do here, you can actually, as long as you have more health than the opponent, you can win by timeout, and it still counts. And be careful, because sometimes they can swing at you if you whiff your strong attack, which I did quite a few times there. I don't know why I used the gun there. That was really stupid. I could have lost a lot of health there doing that. That was really dumb. But I'm just playing for time here, and there you go. So you gotta do that 5 times, and it's really not that difficult. Maybe practice it a little bit if you're struggling, but I promise you, that was the toughest opponent I just did there. It's all about looking for openings, hitting them during those openings, and you can even just run around and time it out if you need to. And even though I finished tournament, I went ahead and just went for the completion with practice mode, which is only 3 fights. I'm not entirely sure why it's called practice mode, because you're not really practicing. You're still just fighting opponents, but I went ahead and took care of that. So that's done. We've already finished that mini game. We don't have to worry about it anymore. And now I'm going to grab some plushies from the UFO catcher, and I'll see you when we're done with that. We ended up getting, I think, 26? Got 27, alright, so that's good. We'll worry about more later. That's enough for this chapter. And that's pretty much all of the side content you can get in this chapter. I mean, you can grind for some street fights for food. I didn't see any opponents really pop up, though, so that might have been actually the limit. So we'll worry more about that in Chapter 3. But for now, we're just going to go through with the story. So we go to the Cabaret Grand. Yakuza 0 fans might recall that location. And we're going to get denied access. We're going to talk to our buddy Kurakawa here. Calling someone up. Going to get us in. And I try to like trim down a lot of the pointless free roaming and like the stuff you don't really need to see. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just follow the map. Just to make the video have a bit of a better flow, because these are going to get pretty lengthier, especially once we get to chapter 5. That's when we really got to start grinding. So here's one unique heat action. Throw this guy down the stairs. Pretty funny. There's a couple opportunities for this, I believe. It's not exclusive to this fight. I don't believe so, but just do it here. Just to be safe, do it here. And there's another one we want. I recall these guys were not giving me an easy time to do it. We want to grab them and go all the way to the edge here. Not the stairs again, but the very edge of the balcony here. Throw him. I don't know why I thought he landed on a piano. Maybe I just made that up in my head. Okay. Well, yeah, those are the two ones you want. And I believe I used the furniture. Yeah, I used the furniture for the rest of the heat actions here. Don't forget, there are different heat actions for using furniture or weapons on an opponent that is already downed on the ground, where you'll throw something on them, and it does count as a separate heat action. Most of these heat actions you'll get, you know, just by playing the game, just by picking up whatever's around you. I'm really focused on showcasing the ones that are missable, are not very self-explanatory, but for the most part, and again, I'll have a guide listed with the list of heat actions. But yeah, that's chapter 2. Pretty straightforward, just like chapter 1. Had our first couple side missions, but not too much. Chapter 3, daytime now. Also kind of short. There are some really long cutscenes, but we're gonna do some free roam here. So now we got a little more access to stuff, and you can see some sparkles on the floor. Those are coin locker keys. We're gonna grab those in a second. I apologize. I think somebody's mowing the lawn next door. That's great timing. Anyway, this guy's still here, but don't worry, we're not gonna do anything for him. We're just gonna talk to him and finally clear up this side mission. We're gonna get the gold robot president, which I believe is only good for selling at the pawn store, which still isn't open yet. And since we're here, I'm going to actually go ahead and grab some plushies. So I will see you in a second when I'm done with that. Alright, and we should have 50 now. Yes, we have 50 now, so we're halfway through that already. And again, you don't have to get 25 per chapter if you don't want to. If you want to make it a little easier on yourself, maybe get 10 per chapter or something like that. More than welcome to. This is just how I choose to do it. You can spread it out however you see fit, because UFO catchers are going to be pretty much in every chapter for the most part. So there's a coin locker key there, and we're going to grab one here at the front of the restroom. There's 2 in the arcade. You can actually get pretty much almost all of the Sotenbori coin locker keys by chapter 4. I got into a street fight here where I showcase. I can't remember if I showed this heat action already or not, but that's one of the 2 heat actions. I think they're called finishers, where you throw an opponent on the ground, either face down or on their back, and you press triangle with the heat action. Make sure you do both of those. In the slots, we go to the middle of the middle to get a coin locker key. We're gonna have a horrible time in here later. We have to get 10,000 medals for completion, and that's not fun. It's not. We had to get 3,000 for Hadaka in Yakuza 1, and that took a while, but the 10,000 is just, it just makes you feel like the developers hate you. Now, anyway, we're going to run all the way back down here, and I saw the key. This one's right next to a person, which is really tedious because the game keeps wanting you to talk to the person, but it's not what I want to do. I want to pick up the key, but it keeps trying to make me talk to the person. I don't want to do that. And grab that one. This one at the very start of the bridge here. There's one in the middle of the bridge as well. We're going to end up getting into a street fight first. I'm going to go ahead and showcase that other heat action where you throw someone off the bridge. Oh, I actually got this one with the sword too. One of the opponents had a sword, so I stole it and got that heat action. At least Kiryu remembered his training with swords from the first game, because he sure didn't remember how to use the bat. Anyway, throw that guy off. Go for a cold swim. I do enjoy the heat actions where you throw enemies off of high places. Those are always fun. And there is a coin locker key right by this guy's feet, and I'm going to struggle trying to get it without talking to the asshole. Any moment now, I'll find it. It's literally right by his feet. And you want it to say check. Like right there in the top right, it says check instead of talk. That's what you want to look for. But I'm so impatient, I just press X as soon as I see it pop up. So next one is right outside of the pharmacy here. Grab that one. These are a little out of order. I have a video up. I have 2 videos up for Sotenbori and Kamurocho showing all of the coin locker key locations, and that goes in numerical order from 1 to 50. Here I'm trying to show you picking them up as they come about in the gameplay order, if you will, the ones that are available at a time. And there's one right there. I didn't pick it up, literally right there, right by the door. You can go ahead and pick it up now. You don't have to be like me and come back here later to grab it. Which I will do, but yeah, like there are some I definitely could have picked up in a better order, but I don't really see a whole lot of guides or anything on this. Yakuza 2 in general doesn't seem to have a whole lot on it, so I'm hoping I can help out a bit with that by making these videos. But we grabbed a key there, the lower side as well as the other bridge, and then I finally grabbed the one in White Snake. I do a little bit of grinding for the restaurant as well. There's a coin locker key here by the taxi. Get into some street fights, as I instructed, get beat up, get to low health, and then go eat. There's also a bar here, and I should have did some drinks here, but I chose to do it later for some reason. But yeah, go ahead, while you're here picking up the key, go ahead and get some drinks in you. Unlike me leaving. Because alcohol works different than food, as it does in real life. You can drink if you have full health, but you have an intoxication meter. And when that's full after 3 or 4 drinks, you have to wait an in-game timer for Kiryu to sober up so you can drink again. So it's good to drink as often as you can. The drinks are all, for the most part, shared. There are drinks exclusive to certain bars. I'm leveling up body here. There are drinks that are exclusive to certain bars, but a lot of them are linked together. Like, they all share the same drinks. So you don't have to, like, drink every listed item of every bar. It's a little bit easier than that. Oh, there's a key here at the very end. And there's also a key in this Gobini. And it's at the end there, right by that ATM machine. And my silly goober self is gonna walk around the whole store looking for it. I'm gonna go there at the very end where it is, but it's by the ATM machine. There we go. So I'm gonna grab that. Street fight I got into right outside of there, showcasing this heat action. I think this also counts as a finisher in that category. We're gonna go into this side. In this little corner here, there is a key. And then back down here, one that I missed. Again, I apologize. I should have organized this a little bit better. But there's not that much of the map to explore yet, so it's not that much running around. Now I'm finally gonna get some drinks. Which if you did as I said earlier, you should already have gotten these drinks in you and not have to worry about coming back here unless you've somehow been running around enough to have sobered up already. But I'm just showcasing how it works. Now we're at the golf center. We're gonna play some golf, but first we're going to grab this coin locker key. So golf, in terms of completion, there are 5 courses to complete, and you need to get 1,000 points for each one. I'm only gonna do beginner in this chapter because in the next chapter there's a side mission that opens once you've played 5 times. And that doesn't mean you have to complete 5 times. You can just pick a course and then exit out once you load in, and that'll count towards spawning the sub-story. And I do recommend only doing the first 4 before the sub-story and then knock out the last one during the sub-story so you can get it all done in one fell swoop. So golf is a pain in the ass, but if you see that meter there on the bottom right, if you copy exactly what I did, you will hit exactly where I did, where my ball goes. And I mean, it's not great, this mini game, but there is consistency to it. It just takes some skill. So you can hit 100 10 times if you want, or you can aim exactly where I did. 36%, negative 2.7, 39 I think will also work here. Yeah, aim, and you can hit into the actual holes here, and those are worth more points. So it's pretty obvious. You've got all those points there, and you need 1,000. So hitting the holes will give you more opportunities, because in order to get 1,000, you have to hit the 100 10 times, and that's all of your shots. So if you miss one, then you're SOL, unless you can hit the hole. But yeah, golf is not the best, but we'll worry more about that in the next chapter. Just mainly went there to knock one out while we were grabbing the coin locker key. And yeah, that's pretty much all the free roam stuff. So now we're just gonna go through the rest of the story mode, and there are, as I warned before, there are 3 missable heat actions you can only get in this section. So make sure you pay attention when we get there. And here's our first item box. All right, finally. There's all your stuff that you'll get if you have save data from the first game. Going to put the important stuff up for sure. And I'll keep the healing items. And you can make a save there. I made a save before this section, which I would recommend more so if you don't have any healing items and you go through here and you realize, oh, I need them. But you can also make your save there if you want to be a little quicker and don't have to worry about running around here again. That is entirely up to you. So, the heat actions don't pop up for a little bit. These fights are pretty straightforward. I don't actually think we get anything special or unique here. Just take out these enemies. They have pretty small health bars, so, you know, most of them will just go down in a combo. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I do level up my, what do I level up here? I level up my technique? Yeah, I level up my technique. I don't think I'm going to level it up again for a while, though. We're going to focus mostly on soul and body. So technique's going to get kind of left behind the next few chapters. Again, how you choose to upgrade is up to you, but it's my preference to focus on getting these heat actions as early as possible, as well as getting the health bar up so that food grinding will be a lot easier. Well, once we clear that first battle, we get into a more open one. Actually, have to run around the headquarters now. Now, see, that guy's got a baseball bat, but we can't do anything with that yet because we haven't finished the batting minigame. So Kiryu already forgot how to do that one that he knew from the first freaking game. And batting isn't until Kamurocho, and there's also a bowling one. And certain weapons you have to play mini games for to unlock their heat actions. Golf is also one of them. We'll be unlocking that in the next chapter. Here's an item pickup. You see this glowing, my god. You see that glowing aura there? That's an item pickup. Heat action is actually here, and I failed to do it there. I think I'm gonna fail on this next guy also. But it is in this section here. Yeah, don't do it just on the plain wall there now. You want to do it right between these little pillars. There we go. There it is. That one. You want that one. It's called Twin Kicks. I'm sure you'll probably get it just by playing the game, but just make sure that you do, because you will otherwise have to wait until New Game Plus, or you'll have to start the game over to get it. So, this is your other one. Make sure you press circle when you get the prompt. This actually is a heat action. This counts as a heat action, so make sure you don't miss it. I guarantee you there will not be another opportunity for this one. I wonder if this is Kiryu's first truly goofy moment in combat. He really did just bring down a freaking chandelier like that with his fist. What a crazy guy. So, I'm looking around for item pickups. I don't think there are any here, though. And I'm actually going to prep, because I forget that there are some enemies in the next room. I was thinking it was just the boss fight. Because the boss fight is where your last, missable heat action will be. And that one I actually have missed before, and it messed up a run for me. I didn't realize until I was already in like chapter 15, and that was heartbreaking. So it's one of those special boss heat actions that you have to... Usually they're pretty self-explanatory. They kind of just pop up during combat, but this one you actually need to do a specific condition for, I believe. Because I I generally don't see it pop up, actually. Which is really strange. But I gotta take out these guys first. They have much larger health bars than all the other opponents we've gone up against so far. But still, ain't no big thing. Alright, now we're gonna get into our first boss fight with Ryuji here. What you want to do with Ryuji is beat him up a little bit.
Giggity.
The trick for fighting Ryuji is to get behind him and give him some back shots. That's the most efficient way, because fighting him head on doesn't really work too well, so go give him them back shots. But what you need to do to get the heat action, you need to grab him any moment now. I'll do it any moment now. Yeah. Oh, nope. I thought I was going to do it there. Make sure you have heat. Grab him, throw him down, and then do that. And then you will get the, I believe it's called Violent Finisher. So, yeah. That's all the missable stuff. Now you can take him out however you see fit. Get you a healing move there. It's kind of... I don't know how I missed this. I even gave it an X, but I still hit it. I don't know what that was about. You still want to try and finish him with a heat action or use as many as you can, because boss fights give you more XP. He doesn't seem to be as much as the first game, but I still want to use those heat actions. And it seems that you can't do the finishing move, I guess because of that unique one. But you can grab him here in the corner. Boom. Boom. And that's chapter 3. So that's the first 3 chapters done. Pretty much all you can do for now. So I will see you all in the next part where we pick up with chapter 4. And we're going to start with some of the grind. The real grind. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.